Okay, so as usual, we're going to discuss about how we apply the Angulimala Sutta in our real life. So our class is not about memorizing sutras and history of Buddha. Our class is about understanding the law of nature, understanding Buddhist concept, and how we apply it in our real life, our daily life. So these are the topics of the discussion for this week. So number one question is, Tamisara, could you read this for me, please?
Isn't Angulimala saying a lie by stating he never killed?
All right. So during the chanting, you will notice that one of the sentences in the Parita is stating that he has never killed, right? So question is, isn't he lying by saying so? Okay, so that's what we're going to discuss. Some of you already knew the answer because we discussed this before also. The next question is, Andrew, could you read the next question?
How would you perform a Sashakariya?
How would you perform a Sashakariya? So all the preacher are Sashakariya. Okay, so a lot of people think that preachers are just to recite. That's absolutely wrong, right? Just by reciting such a parita, yes, you make some positive energy and you make some merit, but it is not going to be powerful. For those to be powerful, for those to have supernatural powers, you're going to know how to perform such a kriya. How are we going to do that? Okay, Ricky, could you read number 3 for me?
How can you forget your past bad deeds, especially when you are meditating?
All right, so Angulimala killed thousands of people, right? How can he forget about the people he killed? Why he is meditating? Okay, so that's what we're going to discuss. Did you read next one?
Can karma be escaped?
Right? Can we escape karma?
No.
Next question. Stellar to me.
Yes.
Can you read this for us?
How can a serial killer get to Nirvana?
A serial killer like Angulimala, how can he get to Nirvana? He's a serial killer. Right? So those are the discussions we're going to have today. Right. So, okay, so let's discuss the very first question. Isn't Angulimala saying a lie by stating he never killed? So in this actual sutta, he said, Yatoham Bikini, Ariyaya Jatiya Jato Nabi Janami, Samsisha Pana Jivita Warapita. Sister, from the time of me being born in the noble birth, I do not know of myself having purposely deprived any living creature of life. So he said he didn't kill anyone. But what is the key here? Ricky?
It says noble birth and arahanthood.
What did he say?
It said that in the time of when he started being like arahant.
Right. From the time here, the key is from the time of me being born in the noble birth. Right? So he's not saying he didn't kill anyone. What he's saying that he didn't kill anyone from the time that he became a monk. Right? That's why this is not a line. Now, how can we apply this in our real life? Now, raise your hand if you think you're a perfect person. You have never broken any precept whatsoever at all. Patrick, good job. You have never lied? Patrick, go ahead.
Actually, I think, okay, I'm actually lying right now.
Thank you. Thank you for being honest. So I know a lot of you are better than me, right? So out of 5 precepts, a lot of you probably never kill intentionally. Maybe some of you at one point did kill some ants or little crickets or some little tiny animals, right? But maybe there are some of you who never killed any animal. Great. For me, I did kill some animals in my life. Okay, mostly not knowingly, but it cannot be excused. So then I have broken 1 precept, right? So, but most of you probably not. Okay, now the 2nd precept, some of you, probably most of you never broke that precept either, stealing, right? Now, raise your hand if you strongly believe that you have never stolen willingly or knowingly ever. Okay, so if you mistakenly put your friend's pencil into your pocket because you thought that was yours, and the moment that you knew it, you give it back to your friend, that's not stealing, right? It was a mistake. But if you intentionally took it just because that pencil is so beautiful or cute or expensive, whatever it may be, then that is stealing, right? So very good. A lot of you never stolen anything. Good, great. And I'm sure because you're just very young, you have never broken the 3rd precept, so we don't even have to discuss about it. The 4th one is what? What's the 4th precept, Marina?
You mean what's the 4th precept?
Yes.
Not lying. No lying.
Right, so that's the most difficult thing, right? So raise your hand if you have never lied in your life. Never, ever. I have never said any lie ever. No one, right? So you kind of lied at least to your mom or dad or your friend or your brother or sister just because you don't want to do homework or you want to watch a movie or you want to play a game, right? You stealthily take your phone to the bathroom or under the blanket and start playing game. And when your mom asks, what are you doing? You just say, I'm sleeping. Where's your phone? I don't know, not with me. Those kind of things, right? So that is very difficult. In fact, you're not the only one. In fact, Buddha said, out of the 5 precepts, the most difficult to keep is the 4th one. But also, the problem is, if you lie, there's a good chance that you sooner or later will break the other 4 precepts also. So you got to be very careful. Don't think that, it's just a 1 precept I break, not a big deal. But there's a good chance that that little line will lead you to break the others. So you got to be very, very careful. And I'm sure almost all of you, or maybe all of you, have never tasted or drunk any alcohol, beer, wine, anything, right? So a lot of you are really good, right? But let's say you intentionally kill an animal, right? Now, when you meditate, let's say it comes to you, or you're going to practice these Angulimala Sutta, and you're going to make this soul and truth. Knowing what Angulimala did, how can you do it? What can you apply? Leonardo.
Yeah.
If you ever killed any animal, okay? If you are to make a soul and truth like Angulimala did, how can you do it?
I'm not really that sure.
Very good, you're not sure. Anyone want to volunteer? Andrew, go ahead.
Like maybe after you killed, like maybe you won't kill for like after 1 week, and you could say that you didn't kill for 1 week. Or
So, very good. So just like Angulimala did, right? You can say, let's say you kill an insect when you were little. Let's say you're 5 years old. Now, let's say you're 10 years old. You can say, since I was 6 years old, I have never killed any animal intentionally. Are you saying a lie? No. No, you're not. Okay. You do acknowledge that you made a mistake when you were 5 years old. At that time, maybe because you didn't know, or you didn't understand 5 precepts. But the moment that you understood 5 precepts, the moment that you knew killing animals, killing anyone, any living being is really bad, then you stop killing, right? So the key is you need to remember a date though. If you clearly remember a certain date, okay, you can say, starting from this date, I have never killed anyone. That will be a solemn truth, right? That's why a lot of you who have been a nun or monk, you can remember that date. Hey, on this certain date in my life, I was ordained as a nun, I was ordained as a novice or a monk. Since then, I have never broken the first precept. So you can practice that way. So if you do that, it will be just like what Angulimala did. It will not be aligned. Okay, so that's how we can apply it when you are to say a solemn word of truth. How many of you remember those kind of dates? How many of you remember when you became a monk or nun? Raise your hand. Okay, at least you remember the year. Okay, when you were 7 years old, 5 years old, 8 years old, whichever year, then that way, if you remember and you can make a solemn truth. Okay, so that's why those dates are very important. Okay, it doesn't have to be the date that you became a monk or a nun or a novice. It can be a date that you just remember. Or starting from my 7th birthday. Okay, I have made a promise to myself that I will never kill any living being, and I have never done it since then. That's great too. Okay, so those of you who haven't done it till now, just remember today's date. Okay, make a promise to yourself, I will never, never, never kill any living creature willingly, knowingly, right? You can remember today's date. Okay, starting September 25th, 2021. I have kept that precept, right? Or you can pick your birthday. It'll be nice if you do so, especially on your birthday, right? On your birthday, you're happy. and you want animals to be happy too, right? So just remember one of your birthday, make a promise. That way you can use that soul and truth in your life later. Okay? Any question? No? All right, so we're going to go to the next one. So how would you perform as such a career? How do you perform such a career? We discussed this before with the other sutras, and every single sutra it will be the same thing. How would you perform as such a career? Andrew, go ahead. That
You have to promise something.
you have to promise something, okay? And what else? It has to be a truth. Anything else? Go ahead, Will.
The truth has to be good, and it's like by the power of the soul and truth, this and that will happen.
Okay, so maybe you don't remember the exact way of doing such a career. So let's look at it from Angulimala Sutta. Okay, so let's look at it starting from here. All right, Patrick, could you read certain, let me see. All right, Patrick, could you read starting from here? He was. So that Patrick, unmute your microphone and start reading from here. He was too.
Share your screen.
You know, I don't have the page.
Oh, that's right. 1 second. Okay, go ahead. He was too.
He was to assert the truth of his personal purity by reciting with intense concentration of mind and utmost saddha the Pariyata Sutta the Enlightened One had just taught him. Angulimala Deva intentionally doubted with wherever he could undertake the assertion the Buddha had taught. He confessed to the Enlightened One. He sensed to go over the countless murders of people he had committed to Buddha.
Yeah, thank you that. So this is very important. So any soul and truth you make, you gotta have 100% belief in what you are going to make, what you're going to say. You should not have any doubt. Now, Angulimala, did he have doubt? Yes, he did, right? So, because he wants to assert. Okay, what does assert? Assert means you firmly say it, right? You say something really, really strongly because you believe in what you say, right? That's what I mean by assert, okay? Saying something firmly with strong confidence in it. So he wants to assert the truth of his personal purity by reciting with intense concentration of mind. Not only that, you're going to say it with assertion. You're going to have an intense concentration of mind and utmost saddha. Saddha meaning believe. Believe in what? Not believing in Buddha or Dhamma or Sangha. Here, believing in, what do you think? Believing in what, Sophia Tom? Sophia Tom.
Oh, sorry, what was the question for it?
What are you to believe in here?
No, I'm not sure for this one.
You're not sure.
Oh, wait, the truth of like personal purity, I think.
That you are to believe in what you say. Okay. Now this is very important. If you're asked to come in front of the class and say something to the class, or you go on the stage to give a speech, first of all, what do you have to believe in? You are to believe in yourself. You are to believe in what you are going to say, right? If you're going to say something that you yourself don't believe in, what do you think your voice will be like? Very weak, right, Andrew?
Yes.
All right. So if you go on the stage and you say, I support me online. I don't believe in that guy. Do you think I'll be very strong? No, right? But if I were to say, I believe in Aung San Suu Kyi, then my voice will be really loud and firm, because that's what I believe in, right? Or if someone asks me to say I support Donald Trump, my voice will be weak. I most likely will not say it. But if someone make me say it, because I don't believe in that guy, my voice will be low also, right? So important thing is, first, you got to believe in yourself, and you got to believe in what you're going to say, right? So Angulimala initially, was he confident to recite that sutta? No, he doubted, right? So he confessed to the Buddha that he has sense of guilt over the countless murders of people he had committed, right? So then what did Buddha say here? He told the Buddha that by certain he had never deprived a living being alive, he will be committing falsehood. Basically, he will be committing a lie. So he submitted, enlightened master, everyone knows that I have in the past intentionally deprived many innocent people of life. These hands have been bloodied by the murder of over 1,000 innocent people. How can I truthfully make such a noble, such a career? Most enlightened master. So then Buddha said, to change that, to commence from the time of his admission into Ariyaya Jatiya Jato. That's where it comes from the time of his noble birth, or entering the Bhikkhu order, right? That way you are confident. So if I make you say, you never kill any living being for your whole life, will you be confident? No, you will not be confident at all, right? But if you make the same solemn truth from a start date, like studying my birthday of last year, I have never killed any living being intentionally. And if you're sure you didn't, then you will be very confident. You can say it loud, right? You can say it with your chin high, right? So that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what Buddha told him to, and he did that. Okay, so now how do we do such a career? Tamitong, could you read this for us, please? Seated.
Seated cross-legged on the slab of stone, Angulimala Thera focused deeply on the truth underlying his Satchakriya of a noble spiritual rebirth. After invoking the blessings of the noble triple gem, that is the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, the one-pointedness of mind, he recited his Satyakriya with deep sadha, with intense.
Thank you, Tammy. I'll stop here. So how many elements do you notice here, the way that we need to do our Satyakriya? How did he do Satyakriya? What are the important adjectives here? Michelle.
I think the important adjectives. Oh wait, does it have to specifically be adjectives?
Not necessarily, no.
Oh, so in the Satyakriya that he made, I think that the important words were noble birth, because that like signifies like when he started not to like kill living beings.
Very good. So very good to me. But before that, so the first one is focused deeply. Now, you can likely say, from the time that I became a monk, from the time that I was reborn in noble birth, versus close your eyes, you visualize that moment. Okay, deeply in your heart. Okay, you say with strong, deep focus. Now, the adjective here important is here. You're gonna be focused, right? So you just can recite a sutta or a parita while you're listening to the music, right? A lot of you guys these days want to multitask, right? You're doing school homework, you're listening to one of your YouTube or TikTok, whatever music with your headphone. Your mother doesn't know what you're listening, right? Meanwhile, you have your phone with your friend sending you a bunch of text messages. So your mind is going to the phone, to the music, school homework. How many of you do that? Raise your hand. Don't break 5%. And I'm sure all of you, probably except those who are from Burma. So if you do that, number one, you're not focused. You're not focused on your schoolwork, right? Because your mind is going all over the place, and you're proud that, oh, I can multitask. Horrible. Okay, that's the reason why a lot of time at the end, do you really remember what the song was saying? I don't know. That was fun music. That's all you knew, right? Hey, you finish your homework. What do? Some math. What was your friend texting you about? I don't know. She was just texting me some garbage stuff. Now, that's how your life is today, and it's horrible. So Buddhism does not recommend multitasking. Okay, Buddhism recommend unitasking. Now, if you're really focused, you can omnitask. Now, what's the difference between unitasking and omnitasking? What is Omni? O-M-N-I. What does that word stand for? Who knows? Brian.
Wait, what was the question again?
What is Omni? O-M-N-I.
O-M-N-I?
Yeah.
Like more than one?
That's multi, right?
Yeah.
You can look it up if you want. You guys have a computer in front of you.
Isn't it all knowing or something? All.
Kathleen.
It means all.
All. Yeah. So when you, so the difference between unitext, multitext, omnitext is that now multitasking Buddhism does not recommend it. I do not recommend it because you're doing too many things at the same time. Okay. Now unitasking is doing one at a time, which is great. But once you become really good at unitasking, the fact that you can do so well focusing on one thing at a time that you will finish that thing really quickly and you'll be able to do so many things at the same time. Now that is called omnitasking, which is quite different than multitasking. Okay, so try your best not to multitask. By practicing unitasking, and once you become really good, you'll be able to omnitask. Okay, now that's the reason why one of the quality of Buddha is omnipotent. And we'll discuss that later. Now here, when you are doing such a career, you need to be focused deeply on whatever you do. Here, you're saying solemn truth. Okay, you gotta focus on that truth deeply. That truth underlying has such a career of a noble spiritual rebirth. So you gotta focus deeply on what you are going to focus, whether that be 5 precepts, whether that be just 1 precept, 2 precepts, doesn't matter. Okay, for example, I have been partially vegetarian since I was 8th grade. I have been a total vegan since my younger kids were born. So if I were to do such a career on loving kindness, it will be very powerful because I strongly believe in that. Okay, but when I do that kind of such a career, I will focus deeply on that. All right. So you yourself also find something that you can do as solemn statement, but you're going to do it with strong focus, focusing deeply. Okay. What are the other important thing here? I see Andrew raise hand all the time. Go ahead, Andrew.
One of them is one-pointedness of mind.
Very good. One of them is one-pointedness of mind. So it actually is the same thing that I just talked about. One-pointedness. One-pointedness means that you are so laser focused on one thing. Your mind is not wandering. You're not thinking about your game, not your friend, your TikTok, your movie, your friend, nothing else. You're just focusing on one thing. Whatever thing that you are making a solemn truth. So if you're taking a test, your mind should be focusing on the test, right? You can't be thinking about, oh my goodness, what a difficult problem that the question is. I wish I can have my YouTube music so that I can relax. Will you get that in the exam room?
And
No, you will not,
at some
right? So now most of you guys these days are spoiled because school is distant learning. So a lot of time when you're taking an online test, you are listening to a lot of music. Now that's not good, because this one-pointedness, and how do you call this one-pointedness in Pali? Very good way, ekakata, right? So if you remember those steps, vita, vishara, piti, sukha, ekakata, right? Ekakata means one-pointedness. So for that such a career to be very strong and powerful, you gotta have that ekakata or one-pointedness of mind. And then recite That Satya Kriya with deep centered, strong belief in it. Now, what are the things that we skip here? The blessing of Noble Triple Jump. So remember, whenever we pray, right? Those of you who pray with us every night, what do we do with those triple jump? Jackson.
We like say it out loud slowly,
Okay, why?
so like we can get the power.
Yes, so that is very important, right? So these days, that practice is gone, right? A lot of us, including your parents, pray like a tiger chasing them, right? Say, that's not going to work, right? So why? Because you're just doing it for the sake of, oh, I have to pray. Every night, my mom told me to pray, so I'm praying. You're just doing it just because your mom asked to do it. Or it's our tradition. I have been doing it since I was little. I have to do it. But I need to go to bed. Oh, let me just get it over with. And you pray really quick. Yes, you generate some positive energy, but very minuscule. Now, when you are doing such a career, will it work? No. Because you can get the power of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha just by saying, there's no time for you to download that power, right? I'm sure all of you know you are to download a game, right? It takes time for at least a few minutes. Some of the big games take maybe 4 or 5 minutes to download. But if I give you 20 seconds to download that game, will you be able to play after that? No, right? Now the same thing, you are to download the power of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha from that multiverse. Remember, we believe that even though Buddha is gone, Buddha is dead, right? His powers will stay in this multiverse. You can download it back, right? The power of Dhamma, his preaching, or the energy around us, the power of Sangha, those arahants who are liberated. Those monks are dead, they're gone, but their power stay around us. But you got to download that power into your body, right? But if you allow only a few seconds of your life to download that power, will you gain that power? No, right? So if you go to Burma, you will see a lot of people praying like very quickly, and you don't even understand what they're reciting. Or they'll be counting beats like crazy like this. That's useless. Right? Because they just want to finish it. Just like you do your school homework, for the sake of finishing it, you just scribble it. Okay? Or you copy it. Then your teacher might not be able to read it, or you don't retain anything. That's useless. Now, the same thing here, after invoking the blessing of the Noble Triple Jump, that is Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, with one pointedness of mind. So that's why praying Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha very slowly, pulling down the energy into your body is very important before you do any such a kriya. If not, whatever such a kriya you do, without the power of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, it will not be powerful enough. So even though this few lines, it has a lot of meaning to it. Okay, so that's how we do such a kriya. So with those, and then you combine with the power of the truth you say. Okay, so you take the power of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Okay, you put single pointedness focus in what you're going to say. Then you say the truth. Okay, only then it will be powerful. Now, that's how we do the Satya Kriya. Right now, the prayer that we do every night is designed that way. So that's why when we pray Buddha Sarananga Sami, we say it really very, very slowly. Okay. Then at the end, we say it by the power of Buddha, by the power of Dhamma, by the power of Sangha. So in fact, every night you are doing this Satya Kriya. Right? How many Satya Kriya you do every night praying with us? Two? Yeah? What are those? No?
Wait, how many Satya Kriyas?
Yes.
Well, 0.
Three? Okay, so how many times do we recite by the power of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha?
All 3. Every day.
Dylan,
3.
you don't pay attention to how many times you recite what? You just recite just because? Andrew's raising hand all the time. Okay, Andrew, go ahead now.
I think it's 3 times.
What are those?
By the power of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha.
Okay. When do you say that?
Like when you put like both down, like on your, when you put your palm on top of your head.
Okay. So we said that at the end of our loving kindness thing, right? So next time when you pray, pay attention. So the prayer that you all pray every night is designed with this Satya Kriya. Okay, we just don't pray slowly and in a certain way just because it's fancy or just because you can recite it loudly. It is designed this way because that's what Buddha wants. Okay. All right, so let's go to next. Okay, so the next discussion topic is how can you forget your past bad deeds? So I'm sure a lot of you have some bad experience in your life, right? It could be something that you lied, or it could be something that you killed. So for example, I remember a time that I killed a scorpion. Okay, so, and that kind of come back to me quite often before, and it took a while for me. So what do you think? Have you ever had any similar experience that those bad memories are haunting you every now and then? Anybody want to share any of your experience, if you have any? Patrick, go ahead.
So like I had this bad experience when like I thought we weren't ready for the monk, and then like I got embarrassed, and then like I told them to wait outside because we're not ready yet, and that was sick. That was like when I was 6, and then like what happened is that like I got embarrassed because like I realized that we were prepared.
Thank you. Yeah. So thank you for sharing. So we all have a lot of moments that, gosh, I boo-boo it, right? That will haunt me all the time. Now there are moments, there are other moments that still haunt me today. Some of those things are very tiny, minuscule stuff. Okay, just like I said something to a friend, or I did something weird. Now, till today, it comes back to me every now and then. And the problem is, it comes back to be what I'm meditating. Right? So now let's look into what Angulimala, what happened to him. You think Angulimala will be able to meditate very peacefully? No, right? Because he kills so many people. So let's see what happened to him and what he did. Tata Hansel, could you read from here? Though he practiced.
Okay, sir. Thought he practiced day and night with great commitment. There would always appear before his mind's eye his past deeds, misdeeds, and his made. Yeah. So Betty,
Keep on going that to the end here.
okay. His mind would invariably revert to his forest hunt or what he had brutally killed so many innocent men or women and children, and he could still hear their despite so how to spell it?
Please.
Oh yeah, yes. Imploring him to spare their life. They are plaintiff voices. Please let me live. Please let me live, merciful Lord. I have a wife and my children to take care of. Spare my life or my eight parents will be sir.
Destitute. Thank you.
That is, yeah.
So
run, yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So this is what happened to him. Okay, so when you meditate, or when you are trying to focus on one thing, a lot of things will come to you. Okay, a lot of you don't meditate that well or that seriously, but let's say you are to focus on your studies. What does your mind usually go to?
Something other than your studies.
Something other than the study, right? You think about, oh, let me go browse that YouTube. Let me go look up on Google. Let me look up my phone for if my friends texted me about that girl, right? So your mind just cannot focus. It's not that you don't know. You do know that. You should not be thinking about other things. You should be focused on your studies. But that's the nature of our mind. Our mind is so weird. Our mind does not want to stay focused on one thing. Our mind just wants to do so many things, right? Now imagine you have done so many bad things in your life, like Angulimala. Now you're trying the total opposite. You're sitting down quietly, alone by yourself, folding your hands together, cross-legged, trying to calm your mind, focus on just your breath. Guess what? All these horrible things will haunt you, come back to you, right? So what do? How would you overcome that? Well, number one, don't try to have any of these moments to begin with. But I guarantee you at such an age, there will be a lot of things, okay? There will be a lot of oops moments that you ever had in your life. There'll be a lot of things that oh my goodness, I did this. A lot of boo-boo moments, a lot of embarrassment, a lot of negative things. So now those things are going to come back to you, especially when you try to calm your mind down, especially when you try to meditate. Right? So that's the vivid things that he is seeing when he is meditating. Right? What do you think he should do? Kevin, what do you think Angulimala should do? Anyone? So Yeti said he should confront his fears. Okay.
Did you call me?
Yes, I did.
I think he should forget it.
All right. Okay. So yes, you're right. But is it easy? No, not at all, right? If you got embarrassed because of something stupid that you did in your life, is it easy to forget that? No, not really. Now, imagine he killed more than 1,000 people. Is it easy to forget? Not at all, right? So, William, could you read this paragraph for us? One of her?
Whenever gruesome visions of his past misdeeds entered Angulimala Thera's mind, his heart would be consumed with deep remorse. It was difficult for him to concentrate his mind in meditation because of these mental and emotional disturbances. Much as he tried to forget his cruel past, he could not escape from this mental agony. But now he felt he was spiritually reborn and had entered the Arya Magga. Obviously, he had truly undergone a noble transformation. By entering the Bhikkhu order, he underwent a glorious spiritual rebirth. The transformation of his mind and heart towards metta and karuna provided him an inner power to alleviate the pitiful suffering faced by ordinary folk. His inner power to heal and remove the suffering of people far exceeded the ruthless power he had wielded in the past to drive fear and kill and destroy innocent human lives. The very thought of his noble spiritual rebirth inspired him greatly and reinforced his sadhana and in the Bodha Dhamma. Strengthened by the belief of his noble spiritual rebirth, he endeavored to perfect his meditation.
Thank you, Dan. So there are two main things that Angulimala did. What are the two things? One is so you see all these gruesome things is he is getting that whenever he meditates because he kills so many people. But what did he do to escape from that?
He didn't see.
So number one is spiritually reborn. Because he became a monk. Now, for you, you don't have to become a monk, right? So for example, let's say you used to hang out with bad kids in the street or in your class. You realize that, gosh, I have done a lot of things wrong. Now you stop hanging out with them. You change your group to a good kid, okay, who don't bully, who don't do bad things, okay? Now, that's the good association, the positive association. That's what he did. He actually changed and he became a monk. He had association with Buddha and the other monks who are spiritually very high class. Not only that, more importantly, his mind and heart towards metta and karuna provided him an inner power to alleviate the painful suffering faced by the ordinary folk. So now what he did is, since he got this parita from Buddha, he has been helping those pregnant ladies who cannot deliver baby. He will go to all over the country. He will recite that parita for that pregnant lady who is suffering. And he helped so many countless mothers, saved the life of so many mothers and the babies. Now that power, okay, make him to forget all these negative energy. So here, his inner power to heal. Okay, for example, if you ever bully a bunch of other kids, now you want to change. First, you're going to change to group who are not bullied, and now you're going to help those kids. So that's what he did. His inner power to heal and remove the suffering of people far exceeded the ruthless power he had wielded in the past to drive fear and to kill and destroy innocent human life. Now there is power struggle, right? The power from the past where he killed so many people. Now power from recent where he is helping the pregnant ladies and newborn babies or unborn babies. Now these two powers challenged, and eventually his metta and karuna won over his past negative energy, right? That's how he did. Now, at one point in life, you will face with the same thing, right? There will be times that you did some mistake, most likely not knowingly, and by the time you realize, oh my goodness, what have I been doing? Then you will run into this situation. What you do is you reverse that and you do enough positive energy to counterbalance the negative energy you generated. Dr. Ryan, do you agree? You think you can do it? Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it? Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So let's go to the next question then. So the next question is, can karma be escaped? What do you think?
No.
Sarah?
Yeah.
Yeah? How?
Are you asking me?
Say it again, me?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
No, I do not think karma can be escaped.
You do not think karma can be escaped. All right. So that's correct. Karma cannot be escaped, right? Even though he became arahant, right? So let's read a few sentences from his story. a lot of people, even though he is a monk, they do not like him. They hate him, right? They want to kill him. They want to take revenge. But they can't do it because here, unable to seek retribution against him through the normal legal process, right? They want to put him in court and hang him, but execute him. But they can't do that because the king pardoned him, right? The king has already pardoned him. They decided to make matters into their own hands. So one day, one Arahant Angulimala went to Pendapata in the village, meaning he is asking for food, and angry mob villagers attacked him with rocks. A large piece of rock landed like a missile right on his forehead and caused a deep cut. Blood gushed from the gaping wound. More rocks were hurled at him as he felt dizzy and fell to the ground. The angry villagers ran up to him and let loose their pent-up hatred. They beat up Arahant Angulimala mercilessly. They assaulted him with iron rods and wooden poles with brutal vengeance. Arahant Angulimala's robes were severely tattered and his back and bone broken into two. Blood streamed from the injuries inflicted all over his body. His inner robes were soaked with blood. Now, the stoning practice is very common in India. Okay, it still exists today in some part of India and some Islamic country. Now, for example, currently in Afghanistan, how do they punish people? How do they torture them? How do they punish them? Stoning, right? They still do that today. So they will put you in the ground to the level of your neck, and the whole village will come and stone at you if they decide that you are the one who committed the crime. Now, basically, that's pretty much what they did to Angulimala. The whole village came and threw stone at him. When his body showed no sign of movement, they feared he was dead. They left him and disappeared into the village. In spite of the severe injuries and great pain he suffered, Arahant Angulimala did not raise so much as a finger to what the vengeful mob of. Instead, he drew strength and resolve from his upaka and received all their brutal blows without a single protest. Now, if you are at this level, if you're level of Arahant, now imagine if you are in the shoes of Angulimala, what would you do? If I were him, I would run away, right? How many of you agree with me? Because I'm not an Arahant, right? I'm just a regular person like you and I, right? I see a mob of bad guys or a mob the villagers who really hate me. I am going to dash back to my monastery. But will I escape karma doing so? Well, maybe this time I might escape, but it will never end. But for Angulimala, he knew at that time he was already liberated. He was already an Arahant, right? He knew he had to pay back his bad karma he did. So what did he do? He did not even raise a finger towards the vengeful mob of. Okay, instead he just practiced upeka. What is upeka? Kevin.
It's equanimity.
It's equanimity. What is equanimity?
I think it's when you I think it's when you do when
Okay, answer with one word. You recited
when
every
you when you don't
fight back and just like you deserve it.
Thank you, Dad. Good. So when you don't react, that is the equanimity, right? Neither positive nor negative. You're in the complete middle and you don't react at all. That's equanimity, called upekkha. You'll stay aware of the situation, but you don't react at all. You recite that every night. Don't react. Use self-awareness. Focus on the touch. Now, at the highest level, don't react can be interpreted as upekkha, right? So he just practiced upekkha. Why? Can he practice metta now? Well, metta alone would not be enough. Yes, upekkha is the highest level, right? So metta, karuna, mudita, and upekkha. Those of you who remember that. Now, when he practiced upekkha, okay, it is understood that he has already passed those levels of metta, karuna, mudita, right? Now, he can't do with just metta and karuna alone because the mob is already hitting him, torturing him, right? So the only way that he can withstand is the upekkha towards them, towards his suffering, right? If he does not practice that, then he will be reacting either to the mob or to his pain, right? Let's say if your father punished you by hitting with a stick, you know that it was your mistake and you're not angry with your dad, but because of the pain, do you still react? Yes, you still do this and start crying, right? Are you reacting towards your dad? No. You know that you made a horrible mistake and your father punished you, but you still crying, you still react because you're in pain, right? But when you're in upekkha, you don't do that either. You're not angry at the mob and you're not reacting, you're not angry at your own body have given you pain. Now that's what he did. Okay, so he practiced upekkha. Very good. Dr. Brian, you have a question?
No.
Thank you, Dad. All right, so we're going to go to the last question. How can a serial killer get to Nirvana? Now, you all know that Angulimala, even though he killed over 1,000 people, he got liberated and got to Nirvana. How could that be? Why? How do you do that? How did he do that? All right, Ricky, how did he do that?
Because he became an arhat and he gave up his killing hood.
Very good. Okay. Anything else? Wayne, go ahead.
So in order to get into Nirvana, you need to complete the 8 Noble Eightfold Path, and he did that.
Okay, he practiced Noble Eightfold Path. Very good. And anyone else want to say anything? All right, Ryan.
Oh, so he like he forgot all about his bad deeds and then only keep the good deeds in his mind.
Very good. Very good. Good job, Jackson.
He listened to the Buddha and he followed the Buddha.
He listened to Buddha and followed his path. Very good. Andrew?
Doing good deeds to make it outweigh the bad.
Very good. So he did a lot and enough positive energy to outweigh the negative energy. So it's not only us, even during the time of Buddha, the other monks question, Is it possible that he liberated? Right? So let's read. Nolan, could you read this for us, please? On one occasion.
On one occasion, in the course of his sermon, a group of bhikkhus inquired of the Buddha the place of rebirth of Arahant Angulimala. The enlightened one informed them that he had passed into Nirvana. The bhikkhus expressed surprise that one who had been so evil as Angulimala, who had killed so many innocent people, should pass into Nirvana. He then explained to the bhikkhus that because Angulimala lacked a good counselor, he was misdirected. As a result of his blind obedience to his Asariya, he heedlessly committed evil deeds, but ever since going forth, he transformed himself completely and perfectly through meditation practice, a life of resolute mindfulness.
Thank you, Me. So as you can see, not only us, even at the time of Buddha, a bunch of monks didn't believe that he got liberated, right? So the bhikkhus, the monks inquired, asked Buddha, the place of rebirth of Arahant Angulimala. They asked, hey, Buddha, where did Angulimala go after he died? Did he go to hell? So that's what a lot of other monks are thinking. You know, this guy killed over 1,000 people. He must have gone to hell. And to their surprise, Buddha said, no, he went to Nirvana. He got liberated. Bhikkhu expressed surprise. There was, how could that be? He has been so evil. Killed so many innocent people. How could he pass into Nirvana? Impossible. So what did Buddha say? So ever since going forth, he transformed himself completely. Now here it's very important, completely, right? Now, if you think that you have been doing a mistake, you're going to change completely. Okay, let's say you have been playing games that your mom and dad said you shouldn't, and you accept that you shouldn't. Okay, but before you're playing 1 hour a day, and now, you know what, I believe, but I'm playing only about 20 minutes a day. Will it make the cut? Not really. Yeah, you're improving, but it's not going to change you that much because you stay addicted to that. So you got to completely get rid of that. Now for Angulimala, he did a 180-degree turn around. It was going the wrong way. After he met Buddha, he turned around completely. So that's very important. You got to do it completely. If you know something is bad, change completely. Stop it. Right? If you think that you have been attracted to some negative energy, whether that may be games or cartoons or whatever it may be, if you notice it, stop it. Right? If you don't stop it completely, if you stay doing it, then your future will be bad. So Angulimala completely changed himself. So you should do the same thing if you have those problems. I hope not, right? I think a lot of you have some problem like addicted to games. How many of you are addicted to games? Be honest, raise your hand. And if you're not honest, then you're breaking another precept, right? So you better be honest. And also, I want to see people who may not be addicted to games, especially the girls, who are addicted to your phones or your TikTok or your app, whatever app that you guys are addicted to. Raise your hand too.
It's a website.
It's the same thing.
It's a website, but I mean, you know.
So some of you may not be addicted to games, especially the girls, but some of you may be addicted to those electronic apps, right? So I see there are a few of you who are not addicted to anything. So big hats to you if you're not addicted yet. Okay, I said yes because there's a chance that you will be. Okay, if you never are addicted to anything of these technology, great. Now the key is the moment that you know it's useless for your life, you need to get rid of it completely, right? Don't pretend that you're in control. You are not in control. Okay, so that's what he did. Okay, I'm done. He got rid of it and perfected through meditation practice, a life of resolute mindfulness. Now, you guys really need to do the same thing. Okay, as a kid, I understand you want to play. All right, now play something effective for your life. Usually it's something physical activity, playing outside, or some games that is beneficial for your life. If you want to play Monopoly, that's okay. But I know it's kind of boring for you. That old guy is talking about the games that he played 50 years ago, right? Those days are over, right? Now, for example, if you're playing a game because you want to know what your future will be, for example, like metaverse, right? Now, lower down your hands. How many of you know what a metaverse is? Patrick, go ahead now. What is a metaverse?
Like, is it something that like is made of many different multiverses?
No, that. Brian. What is a metaverse?
Like a different universe or something?
Different universes? No. Kevin?
It's like an online universe that's not real and it's a virtual.
Yes, it is a virtual online thing, right? So you will never know. You might be living in a metaverse right now, right? All of us might be living in a metaverse. You just don't know. But let's say you're trying to learn about metaverse and playing a game of metaverse just to know what that is, because that is going to be the future. That's okay. But if you're addicted to it and all you're doing is just playing game on metaverse, that's bad. Right? For example, those of you who want to play games on all these joystick, what you can do is you can practice, say, for example, you play shooting games, right? So if you know that you're really good at it, right, you can join Air Force and you can be employed as a drone specialist, where you'll be sitting in the Nevada desert and you will be shooting all these bad guys in Afghanistan. Right, it is killing people, but if you're playing games and you're killing people online versus you're being employed, it is not a good kusala. It is not in accordance with Noble Eightfold Path. But at least you're learning something, you're doing something for your life. Okay, so even though it is not recommended, But if you can't get rid of it, do something beneficial for your life rather than killing your time by just playing garbage can. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to change completely if you know that something what you have been doing is completely wrong and not beneficial for your life. All right, so we are going to stop here of our discussion. And we're going to look at Brookett and Blockett, and that will be as a post test that you